Who's your favorite Cub player of all time?
Ernie Banks. Yeah, let's play 2 today.
You knew Ernie, right?
Oh yeah, he came to the hospital when I got hit by the eye right here.
Who hit you?
Billy Williams. I'm showing a friend, not a ball player, how to use a meter. And Ernie's right there. He didn't hit me, but Billy's right there. Right over there.
Did he throw it or hit it?
Throw it. During practice, boom, it hit me. Ernie came to the hospital. He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Get me out of the hospital." He pushed his hand against my face. And I said, "It's okay, it's okay."
The day I met Jack Brickhouse, here it's like second or third row up. Jack Brickhouse sat in front of me. I wanted to buy him a pop, which I did. I gave him a $1 bill to sign for me as an autograph. Put it in my pocket, went to the bars later and spent the $1. I don't have any memorabilia from that other than just the memory of Jack Brickhouse signing that $1 bill. Good dumbass move.
I used to be a beer vendor inside the ballpark. I met Bill Murray.
What was the experience meeting Bill Murray?
It was funny because the only thing that came out my mouth was, "I loved you in Groundhog Day."
Did he reply back to you?
Yes, he signed a piece of paper that said, "Merry Christmas."
Were you selling old style when you were a beer vendor?
Yes, he actually bought an old style from me.
I was friends with a few Cubs players when I was older because I went to school at Arizona and made a lot of friendships from Cubs when they were at the bars at spring training. And then when I came back here, I used to go out with quite a few of the Cubs players. Got some good stories about that. I saw Joe Pepitone without his toupee.
I'm a diehard Cub fan, and approximately 16 years ago, I was a den mother. I brought 6 or 7 little Cub Scouts from a small town of St. Joseph, Illinois, brought them to their first Cub game ever. I was warning the boys on the way up, you know, you're not probably gonna meet Harry Carey, you're not gonna get any autographs, you know, just be prepared for that. Walking into the park, a limo pulled up and all of the boys stopped and Harry Carey got out. And they were ecstatic and they got his autograph, and he was pretty drunk and he offered to take these 6 boys in the limo around the park, and I said no, but we will get pictures. So we got pictures, got autographs and all of that. My son got a home run ball by Mark Grace and he got it autographed. It was an awesome day at Wrigley.
I remember they used to have an outfielder named Hank Sauer, and he was a tobacco chewer. And all the fans used to bring him little bags of chew. And he used to hide them in the vines. And every inning he went out in the vines and got a little more chew, put it in his mouth.
In 1945, I stood from 4 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon for standing room only to watch a game because the Cubs had a chance of being in the World Series. And when we stood in line all that time, we were like one big happy family before we ever got into the game. Even at my age, I can still remember that day. I'll always remember that. I was there once when they gave out Barbie dolls to the women. We stood in line, and I have it at home. It's a gal that's dressed in a Cub outfit, and we stood in line. There was 10,000 women that got the Barbie dolls. So I have one at home, and it's on display right now.
But I was one of those fortunate 47,000 people who showed up at Wrigley in May of 1947 to watch a guy named Jackie Robinson play his first game at Wrigley. This was baseball at its best. We were now going to see great players no matter what color skin they had. But the one thing that I come away with that I remember the most is a great majority of the people, whether they were black or white, brought binoculars with them to watch this game. People wanted to get a close look at this guy. Who is this Jackie Robinson? And before you knew it, we found out who Jackie Robinson was. He was a great ball player. The fact remains that since '47, baseball changed, and it changed for the best. You probably went to one of the most historic games ever.
Yeah, with the gloaming, yeah.
Davey Hartnett.
Yeah, Gabby Hartnett.
1938?
I was with my grandpa. I couldn't even see. It was gloom.
It was very dark.
It was
and
very dark. He hit a home run.
They didn't even have lights in back then. And there was
No, they didn't have lights.
No, so the game probably would have been called at the end of that inning if he didn't hit a homer. What year were you born in?
What year was I born? 1920.
In 32, he was 12 years old. But do you remember to talk about Babe Ruth pointing?
Oh, pointing, yeah.
Yeah, in a 32.
I don't know if he really pointed. He might have been pointing to the pitcher. Come on now. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
When they almost won it in '69, and they lost to the Mets. I knew they were going to blow it before the season was over. They had a road trip in New York. That's when the Black Cat ran on the field. And I had a choice of either staying here waiting for them to clinch or go to Europe for the first time. And I decided to go to Europe. And I was glad I did. And I used to pick up the newspaper in Europe every morning and looked and saw that they had like a 5-game lead when I left, and then 2 weeks later they were like 5 games behind. So I was happier in Amsterdam.
My father is probably the most diehard Cub fan I know. And we bought tickets for my dad to come to this game, and he's actually dying, and he wasn't able to make it. He was put in hospice 2 days ago. Dad, we're going to the Cubs game. I didn't want to tell you. What could I possibly bring you that you don't already have? He said an autographed home run ball, and we got it. We're taking home a piece of tradition that you can't even imagine, because the only thing he doesn't have in his nursing home room is a home run ball with autographs on it. Gotta love the Cubs.
And then I was there for a no-hitter. It was a double-header. This was in the 1960s. The first game, they were playing the Cardinals, I think, and the first game they were losing, it was packed. They were losing 11-6, and they won 16-11. And they had just made a trade a couple days before that and got a new pitcher named Don Cardwell. And he pitched the second game against the Cardinals, and it was his first appearance as a Cub, and he threw a no-hitter. And the last out was a shoestring catch by a guy named Walt Moore in left field. It was dropping in, it was 2 outs in the ninth, and some guy in the Cardinals hit a low line drive, and Walt Moore, who was a big husky guy, came and caught the ball right before it hit the ground, and that was the no-hitter.
You know, the Cubs wanted they had a look at Joe DiMaggio when he was in San Francisco. No good. He's no good. I don't want him, the Cubs said.